Welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about friendship. The first thing I wanted to let you know is that my 52-week devotional book, Awaken My Heart, is available for purchase. It is not meant to start in January. You can start it whenever you want, but it's January. It's the beginning of the year, and what better time to start a book like this? So it's available on Amazon, on my publisher's website, on Book Depository. I will leave all the links below if you want to get that. If you want to join me on Patreon for $4.99 a month, you can hear my podcast, you can get my life updates, you can get all those different kinds of things. So I'll leave the link down there for that too. I love that community. So join me over there if you want. Let's get to today's topic. It's a really sensitive topic to talk about for women in regards to friendship, because a lot of women have been through this. A lot of women have been in this situation where they have their best friend or a close friend, and that best friend or close friend gets in a relationship and you barely ever see her anymore, you barely ever hear from her anymore, and it can be really painful. It can be a really hard balance to strike, because when you're a woman and you get into a relationship, it's really exciting and you want to spend a lot of time with that guy, and it's exciting to get to know him, and you have all these fluttery feelings and you're excited and it's new and blah blah blah. So it's really easy to want to spend all your time with that guy who you're all excited about. And it's also really easy to forget your friendships and let those go to the wayside. So when you forget those friendships, or let them go to the wayside, or like cut way down in the time that you're spending with those friends, it can easily leave your friends feeling totally forgotten, totally unloved, and like there's something wrong with them. It's easy to think like, what did I do wrong? Like, is there something that I did? Is there something that I said that she's like not responding to my messages, but I see her on Instagram with him all the time? It's not a reflection on you, and that's the first thing I want you to know. Is the question is not what is wrong with me, what did I do, what did I say? It is so much more about her being excited about the new thing, about the new relationship. It's a natural and normal thing. The ticket, I think, here in friendships, when we talk about friends who are in romantic relationships and navigating our friendships at the same time, there's two keys that I think are really important: openness and honesty. Those are two foundational things that should be part of close friendships: openness and honesty. That with my friend, I can talk to you about anything, that I can be open, that I can be honest with you about the way I'm feeling, about the way that you're treating me, how you're treating me makes me feel. Those are really, really key. And so having that sense of openness and honesty is really important to talk with your friend about the way that you're feeling. If you are feeling forgotten, if you are feeling like she's spending all her time with her boyfriend, it's important to say that. It's important to say, hey, look, Susan, whatever her name is. Susan, I am so excited that you're with Tyler, we'll call him. I'm so excited that you're dating him, but I still want to find time for our friendship. Like, I love being friends with you. I still want to keep investing in our friendship, and I want to see when we can spend time together, because I totally respect that you want to spend time with him and you're excited about him, and that I'm excited for you, but I want to see where there's time for us and where we can spend time together, because I really value our friendship. Something simple and easy to say, to communicate, etc. Her reaction, I'm not sure about that. Some people get defensive, some people are really open. Every woman is so different, so there's no way to know. But I think it's worth bringing up if that's something you are struggling with, something that's on your heart. Then we get into the question of, am I expecting too much from this friend? You're used to spending all this time, texting all the time, etc. And it's normal for that time to get pared down when she enters a romantic relationship. But sometimes that time totally disappears and you're like, excuse me, I haven't heard from you in like a week and a half and we used to talk every day. What I think is good to do is to talk to someone in your life that you trust, which we've talked about before, and tell them about the situation. If you're feeling like, am I being unreasonable? Am I being overbearing? Am I expecting too much from her? To talk to them about what's going on. If you've entered this place where you're like, I need to, figure out what's going on in our friendship, to talk to someone, not in a gossipy way, to say, here's what's going on. You need to know this. Not in that way, but someone you trust. Maybe it's your mom, maybe it's your dad, maybe it's your aunt, your uncle, your grandma, whoever. To talk to them and say, hey, my friendship with Susan, I want to talk to you about it, and I want to get your input, like your neutral input about, am I expecting too much from her, or am I being overbearing, or, I just need kind of just a neutral party to hear about where I'm at and see if I'm expecting too much or asking too much of Susan now that she's in this relationship. I think that can be a really helpful thing to do to get that person's perspective. And I think that's another important thing to remember is that it's not needy to want to spend time with a friend that you love, a friendship that you value, a friend that you enjoy spending time with. Like, it's not a needy thing to want to hang out with that person. And I think that you can also feel that way too when your friend gets in a romantic relationship and you want to spend time with her. You're like, oh my gosh, am I needy? And that's not the case. Like, it's a normal part of friendship to want to spend time together, to want to hang out. And I want to make that clear. Beyond that, sometimes a friend will get in a relationship and forget all of her friends altogether. This is never a good thing. And sometimes you even hear from a woman who says, oh my gosh, when I get in a relationship, right, one of your friends, I will not forget my friends. I would never do that. And then you see her down the road and she does something like that. This is a really hard thing. Like I said, it's a hard balance to find. And a lot of people learn this the hard way, right? I've met a lot of women who get in that relationship and they're so excited about Tyler and it's this amazing thing and they forget all their friends and they're dating Tyler for 3 months and then 6 months and then 2 years and they have pushed all of their friends to the side, completely ignored, completely forgotten. Everything explodes and blows up with Tyler and then they have no one. Then there's no friends to rely on, to count on, to be there for you because you have treated all your friends like they don't exist or like you don't care about them and you only care about Tyler. And this is a really important thing for your perspective. You might be single right now and, you have this friend who's in that relationship and you're navigating this. It's important to look at the reality of that, right? Before you get into a relationship, to say, okay, I want the self-awareness to know that whatever I get into a relationship, I have to do my very best to find a balance. Am I going to do that perfectly? No. Again, this is a learning curve. It's something you learn every single day. Me, as a married woman, with all the relationships that I have in my life, I learn balance, how to manage and invest in all of those every single day. It's a normal part of our human life. But to look at long term, to say, I will plan in my life of dating, if that's something you're entering into, on how I can best do that. And keeping an open and honest heart within your friendships about the dating that you're doing, or if one of you gets engaged and married, etc. That's a whole nother branch to the tree. When your friend gets married and you're still single or you're dating, and navigating that friendship is really challenging and tricky, and that's another video for another day, because entering into a marriage is different than entering into a dating relationship, and we can talk about that another day. But it's important to have that vision, to see that a romantic relationship, while it's exciting and good and new and all those things, it's a facet of your life. And the facet of friendship is a really important piece of life. And that friendships, when we come down to it, and people say it all the time, friendships can last a long time. And a lot of the romantic relationships that people are in, those end. And you have to decide, what is important to me? Is it important to me to maintain my friendships as well as my romantic relationship? It should be, and I encourage you to make that a priority. The other important thing that I think is always key to remember is that some friendships are not meant to last forever. And that's not a doom and gloom kind of negative Nancy thing. That's a real thing. And so if this friend kind of just moves on and goes into this relationship, and you've been open and you've been honest and you've talked with her about it, and you've talked with that person, and you're not being unreasonable in what you are hoping for and desiring in this friendship and the investment that you want to make in that, sometimes you have to let them go. And I'm sure some of you have stories about that. You're welcome to share those in the comments so you guys can talk with one another. But sometimes you let it go and you say, okay, I have to love this friend from a distance. I have to let this lie for now because I've tried and I've invested and I've brought it up and I've been open and honest, and I have to let it be because it's causing me too much heartache. And that happens a lot, that the heartache is just too much and it stings too much to watch this friend just invest 100% in that and 0% in the friendship that you have, it stings and it's hard. And sometimes you say, okay, this is too stingy and it's too hard and I just have to let it be for right now. And that's a hard thing too. But I think sometimes letting go, when you get to that point, that letting go to say, okay, I'm just gonna let this be for now, and maybe see what happens in the future. Maybe that's a week from now, maybe that's 6 months from now, but I'm just gonna let this be because it's just too difficult right now and it's too much effort on my part and it's just too much for my heart right now. That is perfectly okay. As we've talked about 1,000 times, you have to take care of your own heart in these situations. It's really hard to do that. Proverbs 17:17, the first half of that verse says, a friend loves at all times. And I love that verse because the love in friendship takes on a lot of different forms. And sometimes that loving is from afar, right? Praying for that friend, even though you don't talk to her half as much as you used to, even though you don't see her half as much as you used to, if that's the case, to love her in that anyway. And sometimes when you have this conversation with her about openness and honesty, it's a challenge for her to take a step back and look at creating some more balance. So I think it's important to give, if you have this conversation, you've come to this place, to give that friend the time to figure that out, the time to really try and improve that, to hear what you're saying, to realize what you're saying when you bring that up, if that conversation comes to fruition, and give her time to kind of figure that out and have that balance and have conversations with her boyfriend about the investments that she wants to make in her other relationships as well. To give that time, to give her time to figure that out, to figure out that balance is really, really key because like I said, nobody's perfect at it. We're all human and we're all gonna fail and we're all gonna make mistakes. And that's the last thing I wanna say. In friendship, forgiveness is really important. It's a key part of every relationship and it's a key part of friendship. And when one of us in a friendship messes up, makes mistakes, whatever that may be, and offers a sincere apology, you got the opportunity to accept that apology or not, right? And again, there's a lot of facets to this and a lot of branches to that tree, but that's something that I think is really important to always keep in mind. Having mercy on one another as we grow and change as women in friendship is really, really important. And I never want to forget that because we're all growing, we're all changing, we're entering into new seasons and leaving seasons and things like that. And we have to have mercy and forgiveness to one another as we grow and change. But those two tickets remain in all of that: openness and honesty, communicating with one another, doing our very best to love one another, doing our very best to continue to grow in friendship with one another. So if you have any tips that have helped you navigate this situation that can be hard, sensitive, whatever that might be, I would love for you to leave those in the comments below so you guys can support one another, offer advice to one another. I'm just one woman with one perspective and I would love to hear yours. That's all for today. Subscribe to my channel for more videos right over here. Thanks for being here, as always, for watching my videos. I love that you're here and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.